One of the major knocks on Nikki Haley, one of the major criticisms about her campaign, and certainly if she ends up losing, one of the things that people will talk about that she could have done better is that she hasn't gone far enough in criticizing her former boss. Donald Trump took aim at her today, saying Nimbra, evidently a take on Haley's birth name, saying she's weak on China, Russia, borders, and crime, that she doesn't have what it takes.
Lady just said we got to beat Trump. You said earlier today, I think it's the first time I've heard this, we got to move on because of Trump lies too much. Why wait till 4 days before New Hampshire to really hit him that hard?
This whole time, I've been talking about the differences between Trump policy and my policy, where I think he went wrong, where I think he went right. People want me to hate on Trump. I don't hate Trump. This is not personal for me. This is about policy. I voted for him twice. I agree with a lot of his policies. I have said, rightly or wrongly, chaos follows him, and we can't have that. Now I'm responding because he's giving lies against me. I have to defend myself. He says I'm going to cut Social Security. That's a complete lie. I've never said I'm going to do that. If he says that I don't believe in closing the border, I passed the toughest illegal immigration law in the country when I was governor. President Obama sued me over it. That's not true. You know, when he talks about the fact that the only way I'm going to win is to get a bunch of Democrats in New Hampshire to vote for me, Democrats can't vote in a primary. They haven't been able to change their registration for months. Every bit of that's a lie, and the media is not calling him out on it. And so that's why I'm calling him out. If y'all don't do your job, I'm going to do it for you.
Fair. Well, okay, so now we've got DeSantis, Trump, and Haley all talking about the media in this race. Let me ask it a different way. The independent voters that I talked to was just in Manchester. One of your supporters was saying, I need to hear her hit Donald Trump harder to show that she's willing to take the fight to him.
I mean, look, I recently, yesterday, I think I was on a town hall, but I said 70% of Americans don't want to see a Trump-Biden rematch. The majority of Americans have an unfavorable view of Biden and Trump. Biden and Trump, both trillions of dollars in debt that our kids are never going to forgive them for. Biden and Trump totally distracted on investigations and not focused on a vision for America because they're focused on vengeance and all of those things. What more do you want me to say? I told you he lied today. I've said all the lies that he's doing, and I've said that when he lies, it's because he feels insecure. And I know him well. He is very insecure right now, and so he's lashing out and hoping that things will stick. So I call it out like I see it. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't go out of my way to avoid it. I wait, and if whatever the day brings, I call it out and say the truth.
You make a great point, and we see that in the polling as well. 75% of Americans want somebody different. But, Governor, you look at the data out of Iowa, historically low turnout. Yeah, Trump only got 50% of the vote, but it was historically low turnout. What are you seeing in the data in New Hampshire that says this could be different?
Well, it'll be very different. New Hampshire always has a much higher voter turnout than Iowa. I mean, let's talk about Iowa. 56,000 people voted for Trump out of 3 million. Like less than 2%. Less than 2% of Iowa is going to dictate who wins, who's the choice of the Republican Party. I don't think so. That's not going to happen. It's a process. So Iowa gets things kicked off. A voter turnout in New Hampshire is going to be much, much higher. I mean, I think the Secretary of State has now said it could be a record turnout this year, potentially, which is great. The weather's obviously going to be pretty good. We're pretty tough. We kind of go through the weather anyways, but when you see high voter turnout, it says one thing: we want change, right? That's what that means. They want change. They want something new. You know, he's effectively running as the incumbent, if you will. He gets all the media attention, has all the name ID. But boy, when people come out in droves like this, it means they want something different. And again, New Hampshire has a great history of that. To take that momentum and that glide path, go into Nikki's home state of South Carolina, where she's pretty good at winning in South Carolina.
You've done it.
So all of a sudden, that would be a complete change in the paradigm of this election, the narrative, if you will, from both the media standpoint and what's really happening on the ground. And once the American public sees that mindset, that the emperor has no clothes, so to say, that's a huge opportunity to move America forward, galvanize the party, but move America forward and win this thing.
Fair enough. Look, if you can have the talking point that there's been two people to beat Donald Trump, Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, that changes the conversation. I know you've seen this. Ken Langone, the Home Depot billionaire, said, hey, I'm going to wait to put in any more money until after he sees what happens here on Tuesday. Big crowd here. There's reasons to be optimistic. Is the expectation that you need to win New Hampshire unfair?
I mean, yes, because if you listen to what I've said from the very beginning before Iowa, and I've been very consistent, I wanted to be strong in Iowa. I feel like we were. We started at 2%, we ended with 20%. I'm thrilled with that. I want to be even stronger in New Hampshire. We're doing that. It's a two-person race. I want us to have a strong showing. We're going to be even stronger than that in South Carolina.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.